How best to describe a game which takes massive ideas from Valheim and even Terraria, improves on it massively, and then wraps it all in a very pretty graphics engine? Well, that's the game you were seeing here in the background, and it is called Enshrouded. And I know exactly what you think already. Wait a minute, Mo. Are you suggesting that this game will replace Valheim? No, I do nothing of the sort. What I do suggest, though, is that this game might actually coexist with Valheim at the same time, because like Valheim, of course, it is a survival building game, but it focuses a lot on the world, on the story, and yes, there is an end to the game, and also, yes, there are massive bosses you have to defeat. Now, let's have a look at the game and what you're doing here. Now, before we do this, quick note, the game is still very framey. It has huge performance issues, and that's fine. It's a demo. It's not even in early access yet. We don't even know when it goes into early access, so the developers still have time to fix all of this. But right now, if you are seeing some lags there, or if it looks a little bit framey, yes, it is. It is not running great, and it doesn't really matter what type of PC you have. You will have a hard time to even get to 60 FPS at all. Now, with that said, let's focus on the gameplay. Like Valheim, as I said, this game is focusing very much on pushing a story and pushing your progress by you going out there and finish quests and defeat bosses. And the really interesting part about this game is the so-called Shroud, because if you are entering the Shroud, you're becoming enshrouded. You see what they did there. But the problem with the Shroud is, it is not the friendly kind of fog. It's more like the Silent Hill kind of fog, where you know when you are entering the fog, this will not end well. You can also only stay there for a few minutes before you die, and there are a lot of bad enemies in that fog, and the fog is everywhere around the map. Yes, you will get some great items out of it, you will get some great resources out of it you need, but again, it's a dangerous place and a place you cannot stay for long. So what you have to do is you have to dip into the fog, do the things you have to do there, and then leave as quickly as possible. And later on, you can improve your base. Yes, your base, not your character, to stay even longer in the fog and unlock higher tiers of the fog. So the fog is basically split up in multiple tiers, and you start in tier 1, and then if you want to go into tier 2, you have to defeat some bosses, you have to upgrade your base, and then you can basically go into tier 2, which is then the next biome on the map. A little bit like Valheim is doing it with their bosses, right? If you want to go into the next biome, you basically have to defeat the boss first to get like some of the blueprints or crafting materials you need. And the game is doing the same here. And it's pretty standard, right? You build your base, you upgrade your character, you craft better gear, and then you also have to do some quests. And I know what some people immediately think is, oh, questing? I hate questing, especially MMO quests. No. The quests here in the game are more like tutorials, which are explaining things to you and how to do them. Like, hey, here's how to craft your first weapon. And that's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, and it's only covering the basics. Because, as I said, there is a quest from a blacksmith which tells you how to craft your item. But what the quest is not telling you, and there is no other quest explaining this whole system, is how you upgrade your weapon. Let's say you find an epic axe, like the one I'm swinging here in the background. That epic axe is as strong as a normal white axe, right? It's like, it does nothing more besides a 1 damage plus. And you think, wait, what? Why is this epic then? Because it's coming with tons of stats. But the stats are not unlocked yet, and the game is not telling you how. You find an epic or even a legendary or something like that, and you go, wow, that's a lot of crazy stats. Wait. Why are they locked? Why can I not utilize them? And the game is not telling you. You have to figure that out for yourself, that you then can go to the blacksmith and he can actually unlock the stats for you. So there is a lot of things this game is not telling you. There are also tons of secrets, hidden treasures, and a few like hidden paths and even bosses in the game you have to figure out, which is pretty cool, right? And one of the other things this game does really well is the base building and the terraforming, right? So this is where we are slowly moving a little bit away from Valheim and even go into the Minecraft Terraria portion of the game. Because first things first, the whole world can be changed. Yes, you can dig deep into the earth and build a dwarven fortress in there if you want to. You can totally do that, something you cannot do in Valheim, right? Here, no problems. You can dig to your heart's content. You can dig into the mountain. You can dig into the ground, right? And you can just go crazy because it is a voxel-based world. Now, what's also crazy is the building mechanics. So I was a dingus. At the beginning, I was creating building blocks, and then I was putting down those building blocks one by one, like in Minecraft, because I'm a dingus, till I then realized, oh, wait a minute, there's a building hammer, and with the building hammer, you have tons of blueprints where you can just build to your heart's content, like 4x4 rooftops, 2x2 grounds and whatnot. Like you find all the blueprint for building in that hammer, and it makes it so easy. Like, I have played so many survival building games where building just feels bad, it feels clunky, it doesn't do exactly what you want, and this game is just nailing it. It felt smooth the moment you have figured out how it works, and it goes super fast. And what's also pretty cool is they have scaffolding. Yes, scaffolding. You can build tons of scaffolding in an area you want to build, and then you can go sky high with the building, and it's super easy to do because you already have the scaffolding in place, right? So this game is really giving you finally the tools to easily build massive castles or whatever you are trying to build. And I can already see that people will go crazy with it because it is pretty simple the moment you have realized how it works. Now, you have probably also wondered that I mentioned briefly at the beginning, it is taking some ideas from Terraria. And I was not just saying that just because they're actually doing it. In the game, you find NPCs. Right? And those NPCs can do certain things, like the blacksmith. The blacksmith is the first NPC you are meeting, and you build, yes, well, you actually summon him in your base. But the blacksmith is like, well, that's a nice base you have here, but I need a room for myself. I need a workshop for myself. Make it happen, or I'm not really happy here. Something you were doing in Terraria, right? And then you will find much more NPCs in the world, and you have to do the same thing for them. So you're not just building the base for yourself or for your friends, because this game has an up to 8-player co-op, no PvP, sorry PvP fans. But you also have to build for your NPCs, which is pretty interesting. And yes, at night, there is a chance that your little town building or whatever you have might be attacked by the enemy. So you have to plan for that as well. And I have to say, I have been playing this game now for a few hours, I would say for 6 hours around, and it's just a joy. You always find something new. You have like some riddles, some jumping mechanics. There are some towers which are not... Well, they are a little bit close to Zelda, right? How Zelda is doing their temples, but they are not as in-depth as the Zelda temples. To make that absolutely clear, do not expect Zelda temples here, but they take definitely some ideas from there. There are tons of enemies in the game, some pretty cool mechanics like grappling hook, gliders, and the crafting itself feels pretty rewarding. There's even a talent tree for your character in the game, where you can then specialize your character if they want to be a mage, a warrior, a rogue. There is so much here where this game just screams quality. And I will be honest, if they are fixing some of the smaller issues they still have, plus the performance, when this game is going into early access, then yes, we have a new Valheim at our hands, and I'm really looking forward more to it. With that said, thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and I hope I see you next time. Till then, bye bye.